Kia ora, good evening. Wellington train commuters are in for a rough ride beginning next week, with services set to halve come Monday. It's due to equipment failure from Kiwi Rail. Service provider Metlink is furious, the council calling it a monumental failure. For more on this, we're joined by Kate Nichol-Williams at the Central train station in the capital. Kia ora, Kate, what's happened here?
Well, this is a developing situation, Simon. This issue affects not only Wellington passengers across the region, but also our tourism services and the freight industry. We know that there will be around 200 fewer services each day due to these speed restrictions that have been put in place. And they've been put in place because Kiwi Rail's one piece of equipment that only has one of these in the whole country. It measures the safety of our rails and it's currently broken. Now, Metlink down here in Wellington says this is a monumental failure. Here's what Kiwi Rail had to say not long ago.
We clearly acknowledge the issues we have here in Wellington are of Kiwi Rail's making, and we take full responsibility.
How are commuters reacting to the news, Kate?
I have been breaking the news to some commuters here tonight, and they are surprised by the scale of the situation. They've told me it's hard enough to get a place on a train when they're currently trying to use the service. They call it unreliable, and now things are going to get a whole lot worse. They are also surprised at how short notice this announcement has come.
All right, let's look forward. How long is this going to take to fix?
We don't know exactly, Simon. At the moment, as long as these inspections haven't been done on our tracks, they're currently overdue. The speed restrictions will remain in place. At this stage, we are being told it could be an issue for 3 weeks, but it still isn't clear.
I Te Whanganui Atara in Wellington. Kate Nichol-Williams, thank you very much.
Thousands of commuters in the capital have been left scrambling to find ways to get to work or school as train speeds and timetables are cut back. Passengers are having to put up with 200 fewer train services each day this week because the main track evaluation car, which assesses if the lines are safe, broke down. Kiwi Rail claims the car has now been fixed and will be back in action tonight, but it's expected the reduced 70km/h services will continue until Friday. Many commuters told Newshub that Kiwi Rail needs to do better and shouldn't be relying on just one piece of equipment to fix everything.
It comes down to maintenance and planning, I would say. So they can do better.
At planning, yeah, I would definitely have had them plan a little bit better for us not to be disrupted this way.
It's not ideal at all.
Oh, I don't think they're service-oriented, and I think they're inept managers.
Meanwhile, Transport Minister Michael Wood has asked executives of the state-owned enterprise to meet with him at the Beehive today, calling for an explanation on why this has happened.
It's been a morning of disruption and frustration for Wellington commuters. Train services were cancelled and protesters continued their action blocking roads. Jessica Swan has the details.
Boarding one of the few services still running today. Thousands of commuters have been affected by travel restrictions, with fewer trains and longer rides.
Crammed like sardines. Absolutely packed.
It's longer than usual. It was really packed, but fortunately I got a seat.
I had to go all the way up to Upper Hutt to catch one in, and I wasn't even in Upper Hutt.
You pay for a Metlink pass, right? You get your month pass and now you can't actually use it.
Hunched up and squashed and I couldn't breathe. It was horrible.
This critical piece of equipment is the cause of the disruption. It broke last week. Without it, safety checks couldn't be done, and trains now have to run at 70km/h rather than 100, halving the normal service.
Firstly, I'd like to apologise to all of the commuters in Wellington for the disruption we're going to cause them in their travel around the region this week. This is clearly solely in Kiwi Rail's responsibility.
Systemic and perhaps cultural issues within Kiwi Rail that do need to be addressed. Is this just the tip of the iceberg in relation to other things that we could face in the future?
The company met with the Minister of Transport this morning to discuss what went wrong, and while the equipment is now fixed and will be assessing the Kapiti line this evening, a reduced timetable will continue for at least the rest of the week.
There's going to be overcrowding on some of the peak services. We're encouraging people to stay home and work from home if they can.
Adding to the travel disruptions this morning, Restore Passenger Rail blocked a key road into the city, angering another set of commuters.
Just trying to go to work to feed our kids, man. Come on.
Police removed them just after 8:30 a.m, with 5 arrests made. Jessica Swan, One News.